So it is only for staff.
So actually I see only for staff only still yet. It's not started yet, right? Kailash, you started or not yet?
No, he needs to start broadcast.
Yes, I'm just going to start
start broadcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not yet, right? He's waiting.
Yeah, we are waiting for.
We can start. We can start recording now. And
Okay,
No, but
start. Yeah.
Kailash, the audio says only for staff right now.
Okay.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, Swagatam. We start with the start prayer. We just excuse a little bit delay, 4 minutes, but we are okay now. So Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Abhiyata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhutame Bhorama Mamudhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane Sri Ramanama Varanana Undama Iti. Everybody welcome. I hope you all got this document which is on your screen right now. We put this together last week. It's a good idea so we can keep track of what sutras we have done, which one are going to come in later classes. This has been uploaded to the group website, so you can see it. So I put day by day what we have done so far. So also a good thing about this is that if you cannot recall a particular sutram, you can go and listen to that particular recording of that day. And only the 2:30 to 4 class we're doing all these sutras, and we're doing, of course, Ramayanam from 4:30 onwards. So let us start with today. We go down to Jan 23. And please let us know any typos, suggestions on this document, because this is going to be maintained going forward. Right now we only have 23 sutras here, I think, something like that. But we will build on that as we go along. We will build more sutras. Okay. Keep it as.
Satish, very quickly, are you able to turn your screen onto the web page as opposed to the word page?
Let me try that. Okay, web layout. Okay,
That's
better. Okay, good. Okay, so you can see better now. So if there any typos, any suggestions, let us know, and we will develop this as we go along. So starting today, I want to just cover one topic of the Sandhi Prakaranam, which we left for today, because we need this topic to cover a couple of sutras in some shlokas of the Gita. And we're trying to more or less limit ourselves to the application in Gita. With Gita, you'll have most Sandhis. Okay? So Gita will teach you Vyakaranam 70-80%. But simple things like Sandhi, Subanta Prakaranam, even Tinganta, you will get most of them in Gita. Of course, Gita cannot give you everything for Vyakaranam, because things like the feminine forms may not be that many in Gita. Some other things may not be there. But Sandhis mostly will be covered in Gita. So let's start with this one. This is the shloka that I'm trying to get to. If you go to the Bhagavad Gita and the 13th Adhyaya, I've also mentioned on this document every shloka that the example is from. Okay, so this one I'm trying to go to this number 19 shloka in the 13th Adhyaya. Prakritim Purushan Chaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi. So the Lord says to Arjuna that understand that both Prakriti and Purusha are both Anadi. So let's go to the 13th chapter. You'll find there this shloka. And this is the only application of this sutram in the Gita, at the best of my knowledge. This the sutram which you're going to see now, the only application will be that one. Okay, number 19. Okay, so Prakritim Purushan Shaiva Vidya Anadi Ubhavapi. So this Anadi plus Ubhav, the sutras which we had so far, we should have had a Yan Sandhi over here. Between the E and the U, we should have had Iko Yanachi. If you see the Padacheda is down here, Anadi is here, and you see the Ubhav also will be here. So we should have had this E becoming into Yan Sandhi. But that has clearly not happened. Something has stopped that Yan Sandhi from happening. So that is what we are going to look at right now. And that sutram for Panini is, this one is Idured Dvivachanam Pragriyam. Idured Dvivachanam Pragriyam. The sutra should be repeated as many times as you can in your mind, so they stick in your mind. They also have a certain charm of their own once you get used to them. They have been made to be memorized, so try to remember the sutram if you can. And what is the vritti? This comes in 1111. Also, it has a nice number to it, 1111. So in the first adhyaya, Ashtadhyayi, Panini is covering all the sanya sutras. Means he only gives the designations, Only naming is being done here. Now each sanya has a prayojanam. So nishprayojana sanya nasti. There is no sanya. There is no point making a sanya if there is no application of that. So under normally when the first time a sanya is defined, they will give the reason or the places where it appears, where it is used. So this says, the vritti says that Eid, Ood, Et means the long E, long U, and the A. Remember one more thing is that the A, O, I, O are all long always. They don't have a short form. The A, O, I, O, iti etesham, rasa veda nasti. They don't have any short form. They're always long. But here specifically we have long E, long U, and the A. Iti evamantam dvivachanam shabda rupam pragriya sanyam bhavati. So when these are at the end of a dual form, dual number means it can be a noun, it can also be a verbal form, either one. In the Gita we only have the noun form example, but it doesn't have to be. If it is a long A, you can also have the dual form. If you look at the dhatu lab, labhate, labhete, that labhete will be a dual form. But let's take a look at the Gita example. So it says anadi plus ubhav. Anadi is a masculine. It's like harihi, hari, harayaha, because you have prakriti and purusha. Here the convention is that it means prakriti purusha is the masculine gender. When we have two like that, the masculine gender will come into play as a default. So we got anadhi as a masculine. It will be accusative dual because vidhi anadi ubhavapi is the object of the verb vidhi. So even though from the form you cannot tell, it could be nominative or accusative, either one, but this happens to be accusative. But as far as sutra is concerned, doesn't matter. As long as you have a dual form ending in long E, long U, long A, that long E, U, or A gets the Pragriya Sanya. So it becomes, so this E is the one that we're focusing on right now. That is the dual form. And now we look at the next sutram, which is Pluta Pragrya Achi. So what that says, that we jump to the 6th adhyaya now, because what happened was we gave it the name Pragrya, and now the application of that we have to go to 6th chapter. So we made a big jump because first one was only giving the name, second was the application. Vritti says, Plutascha Pragriyascha Achi Prakritya Bhavanti. So Pluta is what we call the prolated vowels, which are extremely rare. We don't need to worry about them. In Gita, of course, zero. Even Ramayanam, Bhagavatam, basically, they are not there. Pluta means like something like Hey Krishna, Agacha. So that is a Pluta usage, and we can pretty much ignore that for us because it is pretty much non-existent. So then that remains, the Pragriya. So those which are, and Anuvritti is coming of Prakritya, and this is Anuvritti is coming down from the prior sutram. So what it says is that they retain the natural state. Prakriti means natural state. Prakritya bhavanti means parivartanam nasti. Sandhi karyam na bhavati. You don't have to do any sandhis, which is good news. And these are pretty easy to spot. If you see a long E, long U, or long A, followed by an ach, and no sandhi has been done, then this is what is going on, is that they have been left. And it also makes logical sense, because what will happen is that if you made a yan sandhi over here, if you made it anadjubhav, anadjubhav, if you made it like that, then that long E would have been lost in the sandhi. See, Panini did not formulate the language. He only described the language as he saw it. So these rules are, logical rules. He only codified them and put them as they are. But what happened was that after Panini, everybody followed him. So that became a prescriptive science. It was before it was like a descriptive science. Only what the rules that he saw, he defined. So this makes complete sense. So you don't want to lose that dual ending in the sandhi. That is the logic behind this rule. So prakritya bhavanti. So the same example, anadi plus ubhav. Now just quickly go to this section of this pragrya. It goes for, again, all sutras will not be covered in the Gita examples. I just want to show you from where to where this section goes. As I said, it starts from this 1111, and it goes for a few sutras down. We're going to see one more sutra today from that section, which we also need in the Gita. But this goes from 1111 up to 1119. Always make it a habit to know where in the Ashtadhyayi you are. What section are you in? How long does it go? How big of a region is there, if possible? Because I said to you, I think last time, is that most people stick to Siddhanta Kaumudi, which is also good, but you tend to lose the Ashtadhyayi order, and that's a big loss. So you really need both. You need what we are doing right now. What we are basically doing is like a smaller version of Lagu Siddhanta Kaumudi. That's what we are doing. Because every grammar book you take in your hand is some version of Siddhanta Kaumudi. There is no other way to look at it. If even the Shabda Manjari, Dhatu Manjari, no matter what you have, as long as it is Vyakaranam, it is Siddhanta Kaumudi. They may not tell you that, or that's not, because they take one topic and make it easier or expand on that. So it is good to go to the original text. What does it say? So here we are in the Ashtadhyayi. We start from 1119, Idu De Vyakaranam Pragrya, and we go to up to 19 number. So up to this Idu Tavocha Saptamyarthe. So this is that section. So if you find that something is not taken a sandhi and the ach letter is following, then just come here and check if it might be in this section. It might be in this section. The one more rule which you are going to take from this section is called oath. That also comes in Gita in one place, oath. Now let's look at that briefly. That one is saying that before we go to that oath sutram, we take one more sanya sutram, chadayo satve. Chadayo satve. Chadayo satve. Chadi is what is called by Panini as a Gana. Gana simply means group. I think many of you might know the Dhatu Patha. Dhatu Patha also is a set of Ganas. It only has Dhatus in them. There is also a thing called Ganapatha. Ganapatha, which is like an appendix to Ashtadhyayi, it is an appendix which lists all these words, these groups of words which Panini refers to. They are called Ganas. For example, take this sutram, Chadayo Satve. So Chadayaha, Nipata Sanya Bhavanti, Na Chet Satve Vartante. So Cha, etc. class of words, they are called Nipatas. As long as they don't refer to a physical item, something, as long as that is the case, they are called Nipatas. But Chadi means Cha, etc. So what is the etc.? How do we know what the etc. is? What all is in those set of words? Now, if you look at Kashika or Siddhanta, they list it out for you. So what the Ganapatha does is that it takes all these lists which Panini refers to, and it puts them specifically there. So this is listed out in the Ganapatha. So if you want to know what Cha Adi means, so Adina Ke Griyante, which are the Adis? That you have to go to the Ganapatha and find out, or you may, most of the important Ganas are given in Kashika also, so you can look up there also. And one of them is this word called no. And let's go to the Gita Shloka quickly, tell you which one we are trying to, chapter 17. It's number 20. It's the last shloka in chapter 17. Very good shloka also. Ashadhyaya hutandatsan tapastaptam kritanchayat asadityuchyate partha nashatat pretya no iha. Between no and iha, there should have been a sandhi here, which is the echo yava yavaha should have come here, should become naviha, naviha. But that has not happened. So it's pratyaksham drishyate sandhi karyam na kritam atra. So now something has happened which is stopping that sandhi. So that again is in this going to get a pragrya, we need some pragrya sanya to come there. So we need this chadayo sattve only defines what are nipatas. Now nipatas are many sutras for nipatas. This is the first one in that section. In 1.4, so you go to Ashtadhyayi for a second, we should go to 1.4, chadayo sattve 1.4.57. Below that you'll find many sutras. See, from this Pragrishwaran Nipataha. It's also a good exercise. See, Panini says Pragrishwaran Nipataha. So prior to the word Rishwara, we'll have Nipatas. So this is how Panini defines up to where a certain topic goes up to. So he says, up to that word, we'll talk about Nipatas. So now we have to see where the word Rishwara comes in. So actually it is interesting way, because that term comes in number, if you go down to number 97, this comes a long way. So there are many sutras which define nipatas, and 1497 says adhirishware. So up to the Rishwara word comes here down in 97. So from up to there, whatever these terms are included, they will get the nipata sanya. So why do we need this? Because we want to get the Nipata Sanya for the term no, N-O. In fact, the English term no might come from this no probably. Because this no could have been a combination of no, u, indeed no. So no means the English no is the same as this no. So that's what it goes for a long section. But the one that we are looking at, the very first one is Chadayaha. One more concept I want to throw out to you today is that this idea of what's called as the Akriti Ganaha. Because you're going to see this coming a lot in different places. So might as well get introduced today to that, Akriti Ganaha. Akriti Ganaha. So what this means is that this Gana is an expandable Gana. So akritya ganyante, akritya jnayante is akriti, iti akriti ganaha. Akritya ganyate, iti akriti ganaha. So when you see something which has the behavior of a nipata, or should be the chadi gana, but pratyaksha nirdesha nasti, it is not directly shown in that gana, then you have to understand that it belongs to that gana. So in short, a complete listing has not been done. A complete listing has not been done of the Chadayaha. Many ganas are Akriti ganas. Akriti ganaha. This is a technical term. That means that don't expect it to be everything to be listed in black and white in that gana. There are going to be terms which are going to be used which may not be listed in there, because this Ganapatha is kind of little bit antique. It needs to be edited. It has to be revised, but it has not been done. So this is taking a little bit of pinch of salt. In fact, the Chadi Gana which I'm looking at doesn't even have this word no in there. But because Akriti Gana, tasmat granam kartavyam chadayeshu. So it should be, chadishu granam kartavyam. So that's what it is. So this word no, we have to take it to be in the Chadi Gana, even though it may not be specifically listed there. So once we get this Nipata Sanya, then we go to Sutram, oath. So this no is a Nipata in this. In English, we can just call them like particles, these kind of interjections, particles, explanations, connections. These are called Nipatas. Sutra oath will say that Odantaha yo Nipataha sapragriya sanyo bhavati. If you have a term ending in O, it has to be a nipata. And that also becomes a Pragrya Sanya. And then once we get the Pragrya Sanya, just as before, we go to number 15. It says Chita Pragrya Achi. So following, when Ach follows, there will be no Sandhi Karya. So it's the same example that we saw, no Iha. It stays as it is. So the Echo Yava Yava Sandhi is stopped from happening here. So no matter what Sandhi is there, no matter what Ach is following, it'll stay as it is. So these are the two things I wanted to cover in this class. I mean, for the Ach Sandhi, because I know we start with Visarga Sandhis and realize we need these two sutras, these two, the oath and the Idu Dev Vyakaranam Class. But once we have these, I think the mostly Ach Sandhis for Gita, we should be set. So what we have so far. I think next class, we're going to practice these. We're going to use these and we're going to try to do some practice, because we're covering a lot of sutras. We mentioned into once, but abhyasena griyante. So we have the only way to get them to stay in your head is to practice, practice, practice. So I think next class, what we will do, I'm planning, if we get enough time to finish the sutras today, is that we'll practice the Visarga Sandhi, the Ach Sandhi, and the Anuswara Sandhi in the next class from Gita. And there might be something which we may have left out, one or two things, but we'll come back to that if we need to. So that completes the Ach Sandhi that we have done so far. Unless you find something that we need, this will be enough for us for the time being. Now, coming back to what you're talking about, the Visarga Sandhi Prakaranam. And last time we saw this sutram called Lopashakalyasyya. Lopashakalyasyya. Very important sutram. Let's go back to that for 1 second. It was back here. Is Vakara Yakarayoho Padantayor Avarana Purvayor Lopo Bhavati Shakalyasyacharya Matena Ashiparataha. So Shakalya is a Purvavati Acharya from Panini. So in his opinion, if you have a letter Ya or Va at the end of a pada, and the preceding letter is a avarna, means a long or short, then that Ya or Va will drop, provided an Ash letter is falling. Now Ash equals Ach plus Hash. So it includes all the vowels and soft consonants. But as I mentioned last time, the convention here is to drop the Ya and not to drop the Va. That's just the way the convention in the language is. Even though Shakalya says both should drop. First of all, the Shakalya Grahanena Vikalpaha Bhavati. Because only in Shakalya's opinion they drop. In the opinion of others they don't drop, which means that's how we got the Vikalpa. See, Panini gives this optionality by using 3-4 techniques. He has this term called Va. Another term is Vibhasha. The third one is Anyatarasyam. And then he will mention the name of an Acharya like this one. So all that means is that gives you an optionality. There are some shades in there of optionality, but that is how Panini conveys optionality. And he also gives respect to the Acharya who basically authored this rule. Panini mentions 10 Acharyas in Ashtadhyayi, 10 of them. Shakalya is one of the important ones. This is what we saw last time. So that says that when any Ash follows, you will get this Lopa Vikalpena. Today we're going to see the sutram which says just below that it says Hali Sarvesham. Hali Sarvesham is Hali Parataha Bho Bhagavo Gho Purvasya Yakarasya Padantasya Lopo Bhavati Sarvesham Acharyanam Matena. Now for all Acharyas, that means the Vikalpa is not stopped. In the opinion of all Acharyas, including Panini, we will get the Padantasya Yakarasya Lopaha if any Hal follows, any Hal letter follows. So the example in Gita which we are looking at is the Kama Kama Labhante. So let's go to that for a second. This is number 21, shloka number 21 of chapter 9. Kama Kama Labhante. So let's go there. Number 921. Now, as you get some practice with these, as you chant these shlokas, hopefully some of the sutras will come to your mind. That will be very useful. So you can, or at least you can look them up from this list. Okay, number 21, Si Kama Kama Ha Labante. So this is actually actually a plural form. This is masculine nominal plural. Kama kamaha and then labhante. So we do have the avarna purva and we do have the hal following. Now what we have to do is that the reason it has become kama kamaha because the padacheda means that it assumes that nothing follows. So that is why it has become kama kamaha. So already a sandhi karyam has been done there. When doing padacheda, you have to assume nothing follows. So the avasana rules come into play. Avasana means nothing follows. So we have to undo that to get the native form and then proceed from there. So the form really was kama kamas. The end there was a sakara at the end. So we will start from there and then see where we have to go. So what happened was that kama kama, so that it became kama kama in the padacheda mode because the pada is now split and we assume nothing follows. So let's go to our document. It says kama kama so kama kamas plus labhante. Now you see that we had to use some of the prior rules that we learned last class. First one is the sasajushoru. Also in this sutram, just like before, we will not include those terms bhos, bhagos, aghos because they are not that common, not in Gita. One thing you can remember is that if you do have the term bho, bhago or aghos anywhere, it behaves the same way as if there was a visarga preceded by a long a. If you remember that one, then you don't need to remember the term bho, bhago, aghos. So whatever happens, the way the visarga behaves when preceded by the long a is the same way it behaves when it's preceded by bho, bhago or agho. Why did I say long a? Why not short a? It says apurvasya. Because apurva means long or short a. But we saw last time there were two special rules which came for the short a. And that, just to refresh your memory, let's go back to last class. And we saw the Atoror Pluta Plute, we saw that. Atoror Pluta Plute and Hashicha. So these two rules, number 8 and 9, they specifically when the short a precedes. Okay. So that's why I'm saying that. So those of course will not apply to bho, bhago, agho, because there they have the o preceding there. So if you have bho, bhago, agho, just think in your mind that it is as if there was a long a preceding. And the same rules apply to those terms also. So that will make it easy. Okay, so now, first term in this example, when you have kama kamas plus labhante, first of all, we have to check that this sakara is a padanta sakara. And the padanta sakara is by the sutram, supting antam padam. Supting antam padam. So this is a subanta padam. So anything ends in a sup or a ting, pratyaya, gets the sanya of pada. So we need that because the sutram sasajushoru only applies if the sakara is padanta. So now we go back to that and we had it in the last class, sasajushoru. Here it is. So it says sakarantasya padasya rurbhavati. So we got now so we get kama kamar, that's the ru at the end. And once we do that, the next thing we apply is to come down here again. So what I've done in this document is that whatever steps we have covered in the prior sutras, I don't repeat the numbers down here. If something is coming in the later sutra, I put the numbers so you can refer ahead. So these steps are already covered in the prior sutra, so I don't put the numbers over and over again. And then you use the bho, bhago, gho, purvasya, yovashi. So we do have, what do we require there? We do have the avarna purva. We do have the ru following that. We do have the ash, the lakar is an ash. So we make into the yakara adesha. Becomes kama kamai plus labhante. So then we can use the current sutram hali sarvesham. Because we had the padanta yakara followed by the la, which is a hal. So nityam lopa bhavati. It will take lopa necessary. So it will be only one form, kama kama plus labhante. So this stops the vikalpa of shakalya when hal follows. we don't need, so when the hal follows, you don't need the lopa shakalya. There is a nitya lopa over here. So that's the first sutra I want to cover, because last time we saw the lopa shakalya, we didn't look at this one, but we need this immediately after lopa shakalya. So when the hal follows, we don't go to lopa shakalya. So the remaining ones only we have to go there and get the yakar lopa from lopa shakalya. So the order in this document is slightly going to be upset, because we took the ach sandhis in between here for these 3-4 sutras and then come back to Visarga sandhi. Okay, so please bear that in mind. Okay, so that is one thing which I want to look at. The next sutram is Kharavas, and we're taking a lot of sutras, but we have a limited amount of time, so we have to, and we will practice next week. We'll be practicing these next week. You can also practice at home, and if you have any questions, of course, email us. We'll respond. So Kharavasana yor visarjaniyaha. Kharavasana yor visarjaniyaha. Visarjaniya is another Panini term, which is Visarga and Visarjaniya means the same thing. Basically, it is releasing of air. This is which I think most of you know. So Rephantasya padasya khari parataha avasane cha visarjaniya adesho bhavati. And if you can, try to read the vritti in Sanskritam if you can. Most of it is not that hard. Of course, sometimes you may not understand. Suppose I put the English terms there also. But the English is mine, okay? This English I have put myself. So take it, there might be some typos and some things there. This vritti is taken from Kashika. So this one is pramanam. This one is pramanam. The English I have put on my own. So because I always tell you what I put on my own and what I take from these authorized books, you should know. So in case there's a mistake, you know where to go and refer to. And also, if I say something wrong in class, please raise your hand and let me know. That way, we can make the correction right away. We don't want the recording to be wrong as far as possible. So, Rephantasya. Look at this. It says Rephantasya now. So, na keval roho, not only for ru, but any Rephanta. We saw last time the ru is a special Repha, which is marked by the letter u. Because because some operations which we saw last week, the Ataru or Pluta, the Plute and the Hashicha, those are applying only for the ru. Even the Bho, Bhago, Vapurvasya, those rules are applying only for the ru. But this rule applies samanyena, So for all rephas it applies. So no matter if it's ru or not. So for example, if you have the word punar, even the word punar, this is not a ru. This is mutar. So you say punar, and if there's nothing else following, you connect the form, it'll become punaha. So that we need that. So this we want this rule to apply to all rephas. Also, if you have punar plus punar, it'll become punaha. So there also we need this thing to apply. So punaha. Same thing if you have matar, hey matar, so oh mother, that will also become mataha. If there is nothing following, it become hey mataha. So this rule applies to both the special repha ru and other rephas also. And what does it say? Either if a kar letter follows. What is kar? The ka, pa, cha, cha, tha, cha, ta, ta, u, kapai, shashasar, hal. So it includes up to the kaf, up to the shashasar. So it basically karkasha varnas. Karkasha varnas or kathora varnas are all the hard consonants. So when a hard consonant follows, or when nothing follows, when there is a full stop, then this refa becomes a visarga. So example is Mahat manastupam partha. So this Daivim prakriti ashritaha. So 9.13. So there are many examples. I'm taking only one example. Gita will have example of this in all the time. Even the very first sloka, Mamakas Pandavashtaiva. So there also you will have this. So this sutra is a very common sutram, because the moment you have any repa, so repa is a special term for the letter ra. Ra only is, rakara is called repa. The term rakara is not used for some reason. Doesn't sound good, I guess. So this 9.13, we will see this sutram, shloka 9.13. Mahatmanastu mam partha. So here it is. So Mahatmanaha followed by the letter 2. So we're going to go through the steps again. We have Mahatma. We actually have Mahatmanas, because we have to again undo the Padacheda and go back to the native form, which was Mahatmanas, and plus 2. First tutum again, Sasajushoruho. See, what's going to happen is that as you practice these and as you hear them over and over again, you're going to memorize them very fast. But you should keep on repeating them. So, Manasi avashyam smartavyam punah punaha. You have to repeat them and remember them, then they become your own, So, and individual sutras of Panini are quite easy, not hard to understand. Only thing is to recall them and to connect them a little bit requires practice. So, Mahatmana plus Ru. Here also we have a Suptingantam Padam, and the Refa, the Sakara becomes a Ru. So, Mahatmana Ru plus 2. And then you see that the ta is a letter kar, because you have ka, pa, cha, cha, tha, cha, ta, ta. So that it is in that list of the kar letter. It's a hard consonant. So in all conditions are satisfied. You have a repa, so it is padanta, and then you have a kar letter following. So by this present sutra, it becomes the ru goes to Visarga. So become Mahatmanaha plus 2. Now at this point, you require the next sutram, which is Visajaniyasya Saha. Visajaniyasya Saha, 8.3.34. What does this say? Visajaniyasya Sakara Adesha Bhavati Khariparataha. So if you have a Visarga, which is followed by a letter Kar only, not Avasana. See, the prior sutram was for Kar and Avasana, either one of them following. This one is only for Kar. So you should remember that. So only when a Kar letter follows, the Visargasya Visajaniyasya Sakara Adesha Bhavati. So we come back to Mahatmanas plus Su. So what happened was, the interesting thing is what we started with this one. We started with Mahatmanas plus 2, and we came back to Mahatmanas plus 2. Now, someone once asked me was, why can't we keep on repeating over and over again? Because remember, we talked in the very first class about this Purvatara Siddham. You already come to 8.3.34 now. The Visajaniyasya Saha is 8.3.34. You cannot now go back to the Sasaju Shoruhu, that was 8.2.66. You cannot look back. So once you're in Tripadi, you cannot look back. You have to only go forward. So this is where the process will stop. So when you had Mahatmanas to Su plus 2 to begin with, at that time you had the Sasaju Shoru coming in, made the Ru, then Karavasana Visajaniya, Visajaniyasya Saha, but now you cannot go back again. So even though the Sa has gone back to a Sa, it will stop now. It will not change anymore. But there are no rules coming after 8.3.34 which can do anything to this form anymore. So the term Visarga Sandhi is a little bit of a misnomer because, you came to start from Sa and went back to Sa. At least you had Visarga in between here only. Sometimes even that may not come. We see some later examples. So even though we group all these under Visarga Sandhi rules, it is really the transformation of the Refa and Sakara, which is Padanta. That would be a better term for these rules. But anyway, this is a common thing. Visargas are commonly seen. We call them Visarga Sandhi rules. So that's the final form, Mahatmanas 2. Mahatmanas 2. So one more time, Mahatmanas is the Paripadikam Mahatmanas is Mahatman Paripadikam, Mahatman. So the great soul people, Mahatman. So Mahan Atma Yasya Saha. So Mahatman, and this is a masculine nominative plural form, Mahatmanas. So that is a Subanta ending, Sa. So that's what gives us also Padanta by Suptingantam Padam. See, some of the definitions I have not put in this document. I have not put all the definitions in this document. I think Shankarji may have covered them with you. If you want them in this document, let me know. I can put them in here also. So this sutra which is talking about Suptingantam Padam. Maybe I should put that in this document. It's in 1.4, I think 1.4.14. Suptingantam Padam, this one here. because all these rules which are applying, this requires the padanta to be there, and we want to make sure that the pada is a technical term. See, some of these terms are technical terms, in Ashtad, like the word sarvanama, even the term like nadi, term like pada. So these are, even though they have a word like upasarjana, so they have the lokika meaning that we know. But in Vyakaranam Shastra, Vishesha Sanya, they have special technical meaning. So Suptingantam Padam 1414. So there are 21 sup endings and the 18 thing endings. When anything ends in that gives the Padasanya. So 1414. So that one, remember that. And so we got the so Visarjaniyasya Sakaradisha Bhavati Khari Parataha. That's the final thing, Mahat Manas plus 2. So the Karavasana Visarjaniya requires a Padanta Repha. So this one also, the first sutra which we used was Sasajushoruho. That also requires Padanta Sakara. Next sutram was the Karavasana Visarjaniyaha, Karavasana Yor Visarjaniyaha. That also requires Padanta. So those two we check. And this one, doesn't say anything Padanta, it just says Khari Parataha. So Mahat Manas plus 2. Now the next rule which you are requiring is when the first sloka I just mentioned that to you, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta, Yutsavaha, Mamaka, Pandavas, Chaiva. So Pandavas plus Cha. Now we can do the same steps that we just did, okay, in this prior example. The first three steps are the same. So because we have the same condition, you have the Padanta Sakara, so become Pandava plus Ru plus Cha, Sasajushoruho. And then you have the Cha also letter is a Kar letter, so you Karavasana Yor Visarjaniyaha, so we get the Visarga letter down here. And then Visarjaniyasya Saha again, because Kar is falling. See, if this was Padanta, what you have to do is you have to stop here, the Pandavaha. So in the Padacheda, when you look in the book, in the Padacheda, the Prakriya will stop at this point. This next step only takes place when you have a Kar letter following. So when you do Padanta, you will stop right here, Pandavaha. That's it, no more. But now because we have a Kar following, which is the Chakara, we make it Visarjaniyasya Saha. So up to here, the steps are the same as in the prior example, exactly the same. Now we need one more rule over here, which is a very, very important rule. It will be like a 5-star rule. Stoho, Shchuna, Shchuho. Stoho, Shchuna, Shchuho. Very, very common rule. It will come in not only in this sandhi, it will come in many, many, many places. It's a sandhi rule, but it will have operations in multiple places. When we derive, when we do the verbs, when we even derive prajapadikam, a lot of places it will come. So one more thing I want to mention on the side is that, you might say that, well, these sandhis we know, why do we need Panini for this? We already know these sandhis. We don't need this Panini Ashtadhyayi for that may be true. But what we are building up to is that when we get to the verbal forms, the Tinganta Prakaranam, that is the heart of Panini. Without, Panini Ashtadhyayi, to understand verbs is almost impossible. It's like telling you, the mathematical tables. You want to memorize them all? That's what it will amount to. If you want to learn Tingantas without Panini sutras, it's like telling you take all the mathematics tables 1 times 2, 2 times 4, 3 times, just memorize them all. Don't learn mathematics, just memorize all those tables that you have. I mean, that will be just ridiculous, and you will not be able to memorize them. How will you remember what 18 times 9 is? I mean, you have to memorize it all. You cannot do many mathematics. So same thing here. The Tingantas is the heart of the language because, as I say, as Shankarji told us, is Ekating Vakyam, is the heart of the sentence. And without Panini Sutras, doing Tingantas is nearly impossible. Nearly impossible. Sutraihi vina na sammavati Tingantam jnanam. And then what happens is that many times is you have to come back all the way, start learning Panini from the beginning, which is a bit of a frustrating exercise at that point. So it's better to build up from right now. Even with these sandhis and these subandhas also, you will get very accurate knowledge with Panini. You may be able to do without it because there are only few rules, and you can kind of make a good guess without knowing Panini Sutra. But what will you do when you get to Tingantas? And without Tingantas, you always be lost. You will not know what the sentence means. That is why we're taking all these rules, even though they're obvious, which is good. If you already know the answer, that also helps. then you can work it back. This is what we're doing. We're taking the Padacheda from the Gita book and we're trying to work it back. That's a good way to have it. So in case you're thinking, which is a mistake I also made in the beginning, because I said, we don't need Ashtadhyayi for this. I already know it is Pandavaschaiva. Yes, I do know that, but I'm going to need that same rule when I come to more difficult forms. So better to understand that one now with something which I already know, and then make use of that in places which I don't know later on. So that is why we are going through all these steps. Okay, okay, so now we need this rule, stoho, shchunashchuho. What does it say? It says stoho, that is the sakaratavargayoho. That is the shashti ekvajam. That is this sthana. That is the place of the operation. So in the place of the sakara or the tavarga, what is the adesha? Adesha is chuhu. That is the prathama ekavachanam. When you have any sutram, you should do the padacheda, and you should always apply the vibhaktis to that also. I think I mentioned to you before is that the lingam atantram sutreshu means in the Panini, whether he mentions the masculine form in the sutra or feminine form, that has no bearing. Doesn't have any extra connotations. Only the vibhakti is important. Of course, the number is important. Normally, when you say subanta, you look at the number, gender, case. Number, gender, case. But in the sutras, you don't need the gender because they don't carry any information to you. So the stoho is the shashti ekavachanam, while the shchuhu is prathama ekavachanam. So prathama is the operand. That's the thing which is coming in to operate. The stoho is the thing which is being operated on. That's in the shashti. So in place of the sakara and tavarga, you get the talavya shakara and the cha varga. When do you get that? Ishchuna. When it's in contact with the talavya shakara or cha varga. Now, we will discuss this more in detail, but the shchuna is in the tritiya ekavachanam. So the contact could be on either side. So shchuna saha. When it is with the talavya shakara or cha varga. With means could be preceding, could be following also, either one. So one more time, if we have the sakara or the ta varga in contact with, okay, in contact with means preceding or following the talavya shakara or the cha varga, then it becomes the talavya shakara or cha varga respectively. The difficult thing about this sutram is that which is respectively, which is not respectively. What is called yatha sankhya. Yatha sankhya is respectively. Now, does it mean that you have to have the sakara in contact with this talavya sha only, or can it contact with any one of these fellows? And the answer is that it can contact with any one of them. With any one of them. Now, why is that? Because there are some following sutras which will not make sense if we don't take it that way. That's a short answer. But there are some sutras following this which will not make sense when if we don't take the interpretation in that manner. That is why we are taking it as there's a question from Lalita. Let me take this question. Okay. Okay. Lalita, your question here?
Namaste, Satishi. Namaste?
Namaste, namaste. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Why is it not Dvivachanam, Sakara and the Tavarga, right? So it is two.
Like Guroho.
Right, but
Guroho.
we have both the Sakara and the Tavarga, right? So Guroho is Dvivachanam or it's Ekavachanam, right?
Ekavachanam is a Samara Dvandva.
Oh, okay. That is right.
Okay. But because Dvivachanam will not give this form, right? Because you have two,
right.
And if you add the O's, you will not get this form anyway.
Right.
So it is Samahara Dvandva.
Okay. It is because it is taken as a Dvandva, then.
Yes. It becomes it's like a group. It's like a group basically.
Yes, dhanyawad.
Okay. Well, this is good. If you have any, one of the last class, one of the suggestion was made to have more interaction, which is good. If you have questions, because we have limited time, but if you have, I think I'll also ask some more questions. I'm only talking right now, but next time we'll ask some more questions. Hopefully, when we do examples, maybe have time today or maybe next time, we'll get more participation going. So we can know each other rather than just me talking all the time. But right now I just want to cover some basic rules, and then we will invite people to, even the Ramayana when we do this afternoon will be more participation. Whoever wants to answer a question, you're welcome to answer. So any complicated question, what I would suggest is that I'll send you an email reply to the whole group later on, because simple questions, of course, we can answer. Also, Anupji is helping us on this session. He's a panelist who has been learning something for many years. So he's also can answer questions on the side. So if you can just type in the chat window if you want just simple questions, you can also do that. So he can answer to you, so that we don't have to disturb the whole class. Something important, of course, we'll inform the whole class. And something very complicated, we will I'll send reply later on, so we don't spend 20 minutes. Even if it's a good question, it's not everybody may not be wanting to know that much detail right now. So okay, so that's good. That's good. So this is a Samahara Dvandva. So it's a good question because see, normally Samahara Dvandvas are not in the masculine. They come neuter. So this is Sautratvat Sadhu. Sautratvat Sadhu means that because Panini has used in the sutra himself, it is okay. But otherwise, you should not be like that. Should become stuna, as we call stunaha. Sorry, shashti ekavachanam. But anyway, so that is the way it is. The point I was trying to drive home was that where is the yatha sankhya in this sutra? Means what is respectively, what is not respectively. And the short answer I want to give you is that the savarga or the tavarga can be in contact with any of these, either talavya sha or any of the chavarga. Doesn't have to be respectively. It's not like the sa should contact with the sha only, the ta with cha only, the tha with cha only. No. The contact can be with any one of these. But the adesha yatha sankhya, the substitution is respectively. Means the sa will become talavya sha only, no matter what the contact is here. So once this contact is made with any of these, then the sa becomes talavya sha only. The ta becomes cha only. So this adesha karane yatha sankhya. So yoga vicharita yatha sankhya nasti. So yoga means contact. Okay, yoga means contact here. I mean, yoga has many meanings, but in Vyakaranam means contact. Even in Vyakaranam, yoga has many meanings. Yoga also means sutra also. But in this case, I'm talking about contact. There, yatha sankhya is not there. So that you remember that. So the sa or ta varga can be in contact with any one of the talavya, sha or cha varga, either preceding or following. That's what is Tritiya Vibhakti says here, Tritiya. Then it is going to become these adeshas, respectively. So the sa will change to talavya sha, the ta will change to cha, the tha will change to cha, and so on. So that's an extremely important rule. We're going to see it all the time. So don't worry if you don't understand the whole thing right now. It's going to be coming a million times. You're going to see it all the time. And we do need it now. Let's see what the Kashika says. Sakarata vargayo. Well, I think someone asked me in a couple of classes back about his vrittis. Where do you get the vrittis from? There are two places to go. Okay, one place is the Kashika, which is the commentary in the Ashtadhyayi. Second place is Siddhanta Kaumudi, which is a reordered Ashtadhyayi. Siddhanta Kaumudi is only about 500 years old. Kashika is more than 1,000 years old. So Siddhanta Kaumudi has the advantage of seeing everything in between. So whenever you have a doubt, probably Siddhanta Kaumudi might be slightly better in that sense. But in Siddhanta Kaumudi, he might sometimes not repeat what he's seen before. Sometimes, like for example, if you see a sutram iko and achi, Bhattoji will say spashtam. He said it is spashtam. Spashtam, you should know on your own what it is. See, for us, we need something simpler than that. We need to be told, at least right now. Because why is spashtam? Because he's already explained to you already. If you know all what he has said before, it should be spashtam. That's why I've taken the Kashika vritti here. The Kashika is called a vritti. By the name of Kashika is a vritti, because it spells out the sutram for you. It kind of expands it. These are all codified terms, the sutram, but it expands it to a nice sentence for you. It's called vritti. Of course, there's a commentary also after that. So that's where these are from. These are from the Kashika. But if you go to Siddhanta Kaumudi, you'll find similar statements there, except sometimes he might say spashtam, sometimes Bhattoji might say pragvat. Pragvat means as before, just as before. Now for us, saying just as before doesn't make sense because we don't know what came before. So that's why the Kashika does not do that. It gives the whole vritti very kindly, no matter how easy it might be or what may have come before or not, the whole vritti is given. That's why I like to take the Kashika vritti. But as I said, the Siddhanta Kaumudi may be slightly more authoritative for us now because it's closer to our time. So some things have been done there which was not done 1,000 years ago. So that's what it says, Sakarata vargayoho, Shakara cha vargabhyam. Cha vargabhyam because of the Tritiya Vibhakti here. Sannipate, when they come together, yoge, when they come together in contact. Then Shakara cha varga adeshau bhavataha. So they will get the adesha is substitution. As they say, Shatruvad adeshaha. Adesha like an enemy, because he comes and removes what was there and takes its place. Mitravad agamaha. So the agama is like a friend. He comes and joins you. The adesha destroys what was there. It means a substitution. It removes what was there. So now coming back to our example, we had done the first three steps. Pandavas plus cha. We got sasajushoruhu. Pandavaru plus cha. Then became Karavasanayor Visarjaniyaha. Pandavaha plus cha, and then we got the Visajaniyasya saha, Khariparataha. We had the Kar letter following, the Visarga became sa. And at this stage we have the Sakara in contact with the cha. As I mentioned to you, it could be contact with any one of these. And I'm repeating this again and again because it's important. Okay? So we can contact any one of these six, means Talavish Sakara or cha, cha, ja, ja, nya, any one of these. Then the Sakara becomes the Talaveshakara, because Pandavascha. So this Sa became into a Talaveshaka, Pandavascha. So remember the sutram, we're going to see it again and again, many, many times, and we practice it over and over again. Also look at this number, this is number 8440. Coming to the end of Ashtadhyayi now. Ashtadhyayi I think goes to roughly 8460 something, 68 I think. So that is only, most of the operations have to be done before you come to this sutram. Everything else has got a chance to operate, then only you come. So all these other rules, because look at the numbers here. This was in 8.2. This, as I mentioned to you, this Tripadi of Ashtadhyayi is really, a compliment to Panini's genius. How he pushed these rules. So who sees what, who doesn't see what, which order you have to go is very important. So the other rules have to come first, then only you'll come to this one. So that's one important rule in the very first sloka of Gita, Pandavashcha. The moment you say Pandavashchaiva, think in your mind, Stoho Shchunashchuhu, Stoho Shchunashchuhu. The next one I want to look at is this Sutram Vashari. I know I'm going fast, but it's all going to be recorded and we're going to practice soon. So Vashari. Vashari is 8336. If it's too fast, you can also mention it's going too fast. We can stop and mention. But Vashari is 8336. So what is it saying? Visajaniya adesho bhavati shari pare. Interesting concept. What is it? What is replacing a visarga with a visarga? Now what is that for? What do we need that for? Well, it says va bhavati shari pare. First of all, it's optional. So what it's saying is that the visarga will remain visarga optionally. It will stop other operation, remain as it is optionally. So let's go to Ashtadhyayi for a section 8330. Always keep these two books open. You should, no matter where you go, you should have these two books open at all time. One is Ashtadhyayi with the Kashika, maybe commentary, and Siddhanta Kaumudi. These are the two, Dvau Pravaho Vyakarana Nadyaha. These are the two streams of Vyakaranam. And you need both of them. Because sometimes it's good to go to one, sometimes good to go to the other. Of course, the Muna Grantha is Ashtadhyayi, but you need this Siddhanta Kaumudi also. This is Vashari. Vashari is 8336. Because all these sutras are coming here in this section. We saw Hali Sarvesham, we saw the Lopash Shakalyasya, of course we saw the Sasajusho Ruho. That is the first one that comes in this. So The Ru is born over here. The Ru takes birth in 8236. That's when the Ru is born. And once the Ru is born, then it goes through all these steps and comes through all of these sections. So if you remember simply is that if you're looking for any of the Visarga rules, they have to wait till the Ru is born. So only because that only makes into a Karavasana Visarjaniya. So it will mostly come after that only. So the rule we are looking at right now is Vashari. This is what I call the Namash Shivaya rule. This is my name for it is Namash Shivaya. Namash Shivaya because you have Shivaya Namaha, Namash Shivaya. So we have Namas is an Amvyaya, indeclinable form. All Amvyayas are also going to be Subantas. There are only two kinds of words in the whole language, Subantas and Tingantas. All Amvyayas are going to be, the sup ending is dropped, but still they are Subantas because there is a sutra of Panini which says Pratyaya Lope Pratyaya Lakshanam. Pratyaya Lope Pratyaya Lakshanam. Even though the Pratyaya has gone, it leaves behind the Lakshanam. It leaves behind a mark that it was there. So even though the sup might have dropped, it is still a... Okay, one more question. Let me take this. Rita, your question? Rita, you have a question? No, okay. Maybe that's the old question again. Okay. All right, so Namah Shivaya. We put Namas plus Shivaya. Shivaya. Now here, go through the steps again, which is Sasaju Shoruhu. Sasaju Shoruhu. If you do have a Sakara, which is Padanta, then you're going to get the Ru Adesha. And after a few classes, we'll stop repeating this, but at least for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 classes, you're going to keep repeating this till you get sick of hearing it from me. At that point, you already know it yourself, so then we stop repeating it. Namah Shivaya. Ru plus Shivaya. So Shivaya. Then what do we get? Karavasana Yor Visarjaniya. Karavasana Yor Visarjaniya. Every step, you check that all conditions are satisfied to apply any rule. Very important. And how do you check? You come to the vritti and make sure the situation which you have has been mentioned in the vritti. So this vritti says that if you have a repha, which is end of a pada, followed by either the khar letter or the avasana, that repha becomes visarga. So very clear in your mind what operation is going. This is the beauty of Panini Vyakaranam. Everything is very clearly, unambiguously spelled out. There's no thing that, oh, I think so, it might be this. No, might be. This is the way it is. So that makes it very, very firm in your mind. So you got the, of course, before that, this U is an it letter by the Upadesha Ajana Nasika it. Okay, to refresh your memory one more time, is what is the it, what is the marker? There are only about 8-9 sutras in Ashtadhyayi. You should keep them in your mind and always refer to them. The moment they like the packaging, So when you get any adesha, any technical term, the first thing you want to do, remove the packaging, remove the instructions, and then you can see, what the what is inside. Otherwise, that's the first thing you do. It starts from this Upadesha Ajana Nasika it. It starts from there and goes down to this Tasya Lopaha. So that is what it is. So the one using that is this one. We're using the very first one right now. Upadesha Ajana Nasika it. So this U should be marked as an Anunasika actually. I have not done that for the sake of keeping it short. But really, this the Ru should be written like this. Ru Shivaya. So you got the so Anubandha Lope. Remove the Anubandha. Anubandha is same as it. It's called as Anubandha is the like the after effect or the addendum, attachment. This word comes in Bhagavad Gita also, the tamasic karma, in the chapter 18. Anubandham kshayam himsam anuveksha paurusham mohadarabrite karma yatta tamasam uchyate. So tamasa karma is when you don't take into account what the after effect is, what follows. So anubandha means bandha is to bind, anubandha is to bind following. So it's like so that's the same term which is used for the it letters also. So you get Namar plus Shivaya, and then now we can do the Karavasanayor Visarjaniyaha, and becomes Namah Shivaya. And at this point, we have this rule now which you're looking at right now. With the Visarga will stay Visarga. What should have come here at this point? Because you should have had at this point the sutram which says Visarjaniyasya saha khari parataha. Visarjaniyasya saha. Because we do have a letter which is kar, which is following. So you should have had Visarjaniyasya saha and should have then had this toho shchuna shchuhu. Same as the Pandavas Chaiva. But instead, there's an optionality introduced now. So this will stay as it is. It will stay Namaha Shivaya, or you can go through those two other steps and make it Namas plus Shivaya by the Visarjaniyasya Saha, then Stohashchunashchuhu, make it Namah Shivaya. Make it like this. So these are, you get two forms. Now actually while pronouncing, it's almost, this one is almost easier to say Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. So this is, pronouncing it is Namah Shivaya is probably stylistically better. Though Panini, you can say Namaha Shivaya or Namah Shivaya. These are two forms. So going back to our document now, is of course there will be many examples in Gita, many. The moment you have a letter which is Shar. What is Shar? The Talavya Sha, Udhanya Sha, and then the Sa. One of these three follows. Then you're going to get the Visarjaniya Adesha Vikalpena. Wow. So you're going to have, so example, look from the Gita is chapter 12, example Sutra 8, Shloka 18. Go there for a second. Again, there are many examples. I just took one randomly which came up. It came to my mind. I took that one. Let's see, chapter 12. Samashatraucha mitrejata tatha manapamanayoho. Samashatraucha mitrejata tatha manapamanayoho. Sarvarama parityagi gunatita. No, actually this one, that's different. Okay, let's see. Samashatraucha mitrejata tatha manapamanayoho shitosha sukha dukkheshu. Samasanga vivajjataha. So in fact, in two places in this shloka itself. So it says Samashatraucha mitrecha, that is one. And this Samasanga vivajjataha. This one also is the same thing. You have this Visarga followed by a letter which is Shar. So in both these places, and one more thing, in writing, they will never almost put that second form. So in the writing, you will almost always have this one as, you will see this form only in writing most of the time. Namah Shivaya. So even though it's written like this, you have to understand in your mind that it is, Ucharana Vikalpasti. So you can see it, you can say Namah Shivaya, say Namah Shivaya. But most books will put this one only in writing, Namah Shivaya. So that's what you see in this, in the text over here. And if you come to the document, you see the steps one by one. Samas plus Shatrau. You got Sama Ru, the Sasajusho Ru. Because the Padanta Sakara becomes a Ru. And then Karavasana or Visarjaniyaha, the Shar is falling at Visarjaniyaha. And that will be one form right there. The Visarga will take a Visarga Adesha and stay as it is. Or you can come down and do the steps as before, which you do the Visarjaniyasya Saha and Stoho Shchunashchu. So that will be the two forms. This is a rule which only again applies when you have the Shar following, is Talavya Sha, Murdhanya Sha, or the Tantya Sa. Only for these three letters when they follow. This is what happens. So you can keep that in mind like that. So last rule for today. I know we're cramming a lot into this session. But before we go and practice something, let's take this one. Kupvoha, Kupvaucha. This sutra is almost impossible to pronounce because there is this, what I put as the X in this document, by the way, is I didn't have any other symbol for that. It looks more like an hourglass. You know the hourglass, how it looks, the two kind of semicircles, one on top of the other. So that one, I put the X for that because in books, first of all, in the non-Vedic books, you will not find this symbol being used. in the Vedic books, you will find this symbol being used, but it's not an X. It is like a little bit rounded X. It's like a rounded X, little space in between. It's like a rounded X, you know. But this is the way, if you look at the Sutra Pata book, you might see it like that. I didn't have a symbol for that, so I put an X over there. What does it say? Ka varga pa varga yoho parataha. So only when the ka varga or the pa varga follows, then visarjaniyasya, in place of visarjaniya. So kupoho here is this is the dual form, saptami dual. So when the ka varga or pa varga letter follows, then yatha sankham, you get the Jihvamuliya or the Upadhmaniya adesha, which is represented by this X prior to the ka and the X prior to the pa. So what is Jihvamuliya? Jihvamuliya means at the base of the tongue. Jihvamuliya. When you say Ramaha karoti, you say Ramah karoti, Ramah karoti. So you take it into that guttural sound, Ramah karoti. Same thing, you all know, most of you know Gayatri Mantra, Dhiyo yo naf prachodayat. So naf prachodayat. So when the Visarga is followed by the pa or pa, it takes like this F-like sound, you know. So Upadhmaniya. Upadhmaniya means you can kind of blow air through your lips. Dhiyo yo naf prachodayat. So that's what these two symbols are. The first one is Jihva, it's called Jihvamuliya. And the second is I put down, it's Jihvamuliya. And the second one is called the Upadhmaniya. The technical terms. So this is like a half Visarga sound, which precedes the ka or ka, which is pronounced from the throat, you know, base of the tongue. So Harih karoti, Ramas pashyati. The second one is pronounced by the lips. So this is also, if you look at the vritti, it's also vikalpa, because the cha is coming here. So he says, ka varga pa varga yoho parataha, visarjaniyasya yatha sankham ka tetka pa ityetav adesho bhavataha chakarad. Chakara means by the fact that cha has been put in the sutram, visarjaniyasya. So the visarga also happens. So this is an optional rule. You can get two forms. You either have the visarga there, or you can get the this respectively the Jihvamuliya or the Upadhmaniya. Now, in writing, as I mentioned to you, in the non-Vedic books, you will not have this this X-like symbol. The rounded X will not be shown. If you look at this very first look of Gita, if you go there, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta, Yutsavaha, Mamaka, Pandavaschaiva, Mamaka, Pandavaschaiva. So there is you can use the Upadhmaniya. So I'm saying even the first look of Gita, you have so many sutras you can use, right? Because the very first, Dhritarashtra Uvacha itself, you can start with the Purvatara Siddham. The very first thing, even before beginning shloka. Then you have, you know, the Stoshchuna Shtuhu, you have the, you know, the Karvasana Visarjaniya, Visarjaniyasya Saha. You also have this Kupoha Paucha, that you can also use that one. So here in the book, you'll only see it like this. You see Mamakaha Pandavach. Again, going through the usual steps as before, it is Mamakas, it's a masculine nominal plural form, and Pandavaha. Again, Sasajushoruhu. Sakaranta is Padanta. We can fearlessly make it Ru. So Bhayam Mina Ru Adesha Kartum Shakyate. You can make it that one, Mamaka plus Ru. And then you get the Karavasanayor Visarjaniyaha. So if the Ru is, any Repha is followed by the Kar or Avasana, it becomes the Visarga. So Mamakaha and then Pandavaha. So at this place, one form is this one, Mamakaha Pandavash. Because it says Chakarad Visarjaniyascha becomes one. The second form you will get when you use this one, the Upadhmaniya, then you can use this symbol over here in writing, and you can pronounce it, you know, you can either pronounce it Mamakaha Pandavashchaiva or Mamakaha Pandavashchaiva. There are two forms, Mamakaha Pandavashchaiva. So that you will get this Upadhmaniya form, which will not be shown in the text in writing, but you should understand whenever you have this ka, kha or pa, pha following, then there is this becomes like that. It becomes the pa is following. So, by the way, this sound pa in Sanskritam is not the English F, because the pa, when we have the, what is the pa? Pa is simply the pa with the Mahaprana. When you say pa, you join the lips, then you say a pa. So pa, pa. To say English sound, you see, the English sound is wrong. It is wrong. You cannot say forward when I went forward or por. So that English F is not the Sanskritam pa. In fact, this Upadhmaniya comes close to the English F. Say Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. That one is good. But when we say phalam, so that at that time we should not say phalam. Phalam is wrong. Saying phalam is wrong. I think a lot of people will say phalam in Gujarati or Hindi, Marathi, but you should say phalam. So that's one example of the Upadhmaniya. Similar thing will come in the second example of the Jihvamuliya, Maitra Karuna Evacha. This chapter 12, number 13. If you go to that one, chapter 12, number 13. Okay. So Maitra Karuna Evacha. So we'll look at this one. And says, we again have the word Maitras followed by the Ka. So same old steps. Sasajusho Ruho. Then we said Karavasanayor Visarjaniyaha. Well, this is an apavada for Visarjaniyasya Saha. See, because here we do have the Ka or Pa following the Ka, Ka, Pa, Pa. So in this situation, you should have also had this Visarjaniyasya Saha coming into play. Because when you look at a situation which you have Maitraha Karuna, you will have the Visarga followed by a letter which is Kar. So you should have had Visarjaniyasya Saha Adesha. But this is an apavada for that. This is a specific rule. It has a subdomain because Kar is included, it includes all the Ka, Pa, Cha, Ta, Ta, Cha, Ta, Ta, Ka, Pa, Isha, Sar, all up to there. But the Ka Varga, Pa Varga is only Ka, Ka, Pa, Pa. It's clearly a subdomain of the Kar. Is the Ka, Ka, Pa, Pa. So it has to be given a chance in the small sub. This we talked in the first class. Anything which is apavada, it's called apavada. Otherwise, it will never get a chance to apply. So when you have the Ka, Ka or the Pa, Pa following, even though the Visarjaniyasya Saha would have had application, this one has to be given a chance, otherwise it will never apply. So we get the we got Sasajusho Ruhu, then we got the Karavasanir Visarjaniyaha, and overruling the Visarjaniyasya Saha, we got this sutram, Kuppoho Kappaucha. So it became Visarga optionally, or become the Jihvamuliya, Maitra Karuna Evacha, Maitra. You say Maitraha or say Maitra Karuna Evacha. So called, I think it comes in Sri Suktam, Yah Karanim Yashtim. It comes in Sri Suktam, this one comes in Sri Suktam in the Vedas, and the other one of course comes in the Gayatri Mantra, the Upadhmaniya. So we finished a little bit earlier than I thought. What I'd like to do is maybe then let's take, one or two shlokas and get some class participation, use the rules which you have learned so far. The Ach Sandhi, Visarga Sandhi, and the Anuswara Sandhi. And if we need something more, we'll have to come and build on that. So let's maybe take, how about we'll take the second shloka of the, because we already did the first shloka many times, right? Let's start with the second shloka of chapter 1. Now let's see what we have. Now let's see who wants to volunteer for this one. Larita ji already knows all the answers. Somebody else. Any hands coming up? One hand, two hands. Who wants to volunteer for this? This Drishtva tu Pandava Nikam Vyudhandriyodhanastada Achara Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. All we're looking for is to make an Ach Sandhi or the Anuswara Sandhi or the Visarga Sandhi. That's the only thing we are doing right now. If you look at the Padacheda, we have Tada, then Vyudham. Following Vyudham is Duryodhanas Tada. So who wants to say, what is Sutram for that? Vyudham plus Duryodhanas. If you come to our document, you can see it is the Monuswaraha. Monuswara is the Sutram for that, which says here, says if you have a Makara, We're only going to do this much now for this next class, or maybe add one or two more small things, but practice this one. So monuswaraha. Makarasya padasya anuswara adesha bhavati haliparataha. Check all the conditions. So we have vyudham in the shloka. So what you do is you check one by one. Do you have an ajanta? Do you have a visarga? Do you have a makara? And then see if you have an ajanta anga, do you have a ach following? Try to use one of the sutras there. If you have a makara anta, can you make it anuswara? Is there a hal following? If you have a visarga, what visarga rule do you have to use? So and if you keep on practicing like that, you have to practice these. We have to practice these rules. So vyudham, we have a makara. What is following? The following is dakara. That is the hal. So monuswaraha. So when you have the makara at it's just padanta followed by a hal, anuswaraha. So vyudham. Anybody wants to raise their hand, you can participate. It's very simple things, so you can try. Now Duryodhanas. That's the next one. It is because actually we'll go in the Padacheda order here. So Pandavani kam. We found a makara here. So check if what is following. If it's a hal is following, we do have, because Pandavani kam vyudham. So this becomes monuswara again. Simple rule, but you can apply it. So Pandavani kam, the same sutram, monuswaraha. Makarasya padasya anuswara adesha bhavati haliparataha. Should be padanta makara. See, for us everything is padanta right now, because we only are looking at padacheda, only we are taking and we are going from there. So everything is only padanta for us right now. So that condition is already satisfied. And then makara is, saksha drishyate, and followed by the hali, the hal. Become anuswara. So we have only two hits so far. Monuswaraha, monuswaraha. For tada, what was following tada? Tada is at the end of nothing is following tada. So even though ach is there, we do have an ach ending, but nothing is following there. So we have nothing, so we cannot apply any rules. Drishtva. We have ajanta anga here. And then again, but following ajanta, we have only the takara following. So there also, we will not be able to use any of our rules, because we only have ach plus ach sandhi only we are doing. So we cannot apply any rules here. Same thing with tu, ajanta is there, but the pa is following. So that also will not. So acharyam upasangam. How about monuswara over here? Acharyam. But following is upasangamya. That u is following there. So that u is not a hal. Even though that acharyam was a padanta makara, the following letter is not a hal. It is a u. It is an ach. So we cannot make monuswara over here. See, this is how you're going to understand these things deeper when you take examples. This cannot become monuswara because the u is falling. Here we don't have any makara or an achar visarga. We're looking for three things right now. Do we have ajanta? Do we have makaranta? Do we have the visarga at the end? These three. Then raja, we do have the akara, but then following is not an ach. Raja vachanam. So there's the ach plus ach we don't have. Then duryodhanas tada. Here we got one. Duryodhanaha. Following is the letter ta. Who wants to do this? Anybody raise their hands? Somebody? So last time Anupji told me that you don't give chance for people to talk in the class. So I'm hoping somebody will raise that. This is the same example as this one that we just did. When we had this one example that we just did, Visarjaniyasya saha, this one, Mahatmanastu. The same steps, Mahatmanastu, the same step, Duryodhanastu. Okay, Lalita ji is coming. Okay, Lalita ji, go ahead. She raised her hand.
Okay.
Yes.
Nobody is there, Satish?
Yes, go. I think you have to be the one to lead the way. Okay, so Duryodhanas tada. What sutras are coming here?
First 8 to 66, Sasajushoruhu.
Sasajushoruhu.
Padanta sakara.
Padanta sakara, which is becomes a ru. So we
Becomes
get
a ru, and then
so sakara se ru adesha bhavati. So sa becomes ru, and then following that.
Then upadesha chanunasikai, ukara goes away.
Ukara goes away.
And then
karavasana. Correct.
Right.
And
Karavasanayoha visarjaniyaha.
Karavasana visarjaniya. So if you have any repha followed by a kar or avasana, in this case we have takara, which is kar, that becomes becomes a Visarga. Okay.
So Duryodhanaha plus tada.
So this is where the Padacheda would stop, because when the Padacheda nothing is following, so when you do Karavasana Visarjaniya, that's the last step when you do Padacheda. When the Shloka we have the Ta following, so then the next step is Visarjaniya.
Then the Visarjaniyasya saha.
Visarjaniyasya saha. So that's the last step, and that ends that. So becomes Duryodhanastada. Thank you, Dhanyavada. That's good. Okay. Now Vachanam. What's following Vachanam is we have the Abraveet. So the Hal is not falling. We cannot do Monuswara because the A is falling. Vachanam, Abraveet. That ends that shloka. Maybe we're almost out of time. Let's take maybe one more quickly. Well, almost out of time. Let's see if somebody can help. Somebody else can help us out. Anybody. Okay. Let's say Acharya is. We do have an ach following. Ajanta we do have. What's following that? Mahatim chamom. So following the ach we had a makara. So we cannot use any of the ach sandhi rule because that requires ach plus ach. We have ach plus makara we have. Then again tava we have an ajanta. Can we use anything? But tava shishyena. The talam via sha is following. We cannot use any ach sandhi rules. Dhimata is at the end. So this is avasana. There is no ach plus ach possible. Shishyena, also an ajanta is there, Shishyena. But there also the dhimata is following. So nothing here. We don't have ach plus ach. Drupada putrena, also following is tava. So all these are ajantas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, means ending in a vowel, ajanta. But ach is not following, so we cannot use any of those rules so far. Then vyudham, here we can use, because vyudham we have a makaranta padam, followed by the letter da. So monuswaraha. So this is a padanta makara followed by hali. We get monuswaraha. So it becomes the vyudhan. And then actually even here we can use our sutram vapadantasya. So we can do the parasa varana optionally. Even though in writing you will see the anuswara only, you really have two forms. You'll have vyudhan as anuswara. You have vyudhan because you get it's a padanta anuswara becomes parasa varana optionally. You can go to that quickly. I know we're out of time. Just finish this one. Get the vapadantasya, which we saw. This vapadantasya. Padantasya anuswarasya yayi parataha va parasa varano adesho bhavati. So it become match the next letter optionally. So it become vyudhan with the nakara or vyudhan with the anuswara. And the next one will be Pandu Putranam. Here we have a makara, but following is a acharya. So we don't have a hali following. Hal is not following. We cannot use monuswara. Then etam is here we can use it because your makara is padanta followed by a hal. So we do have the monuswara. You can do parasavarana optionally by vapadantasya. So pashyaitam or pashyaitam. As I mentioned last class, a lot of people pronounce the anuswara as makara all the time. That is not really correct. Only when the anuswara is followed by a pavarga, then like here, pashyaitam or pashyaitam. So you can make it into anuswara, or you can make it into the makara in this case because the pa is following. Then mahatim chamom, which is the same example we gave in our here we already have that mahatim chamom. So you can make it into anuswara, mahatim chamom, or mahatim tiching, mahatim chamom. It's hard to pronounce this one. Mahatim chamom. Yeah, mahatim chamom. So and then the last one is pashya, that's the end. Okay. So hopefully next time we'll have more participation in the next session, next class. We're going to go over these sutras many because there's no point going forward unless we can digest these sutras. Okay, because we don't want to have like 100, 200 sutras in our bag and not able to recall anything. Yes, Lalitaji, go ahead.
Pashya plus etam, we didn't do the vriddhi.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I saw pashya at the end over here. I thought it was padanta. Yes, thank you. Good. So pashya plus etam. So we do have an ajanta here, pashya, and following was etam, become pashyaitam, vriddhirechi. Pashyaitam. So we have the avarana proceeding. because Ad Guna is prior sutram and then Aitam. Yes, sorry. I saw Pashya at the end and thinking no, because in the shloka Pashya is not at the end. See, Pashya is at the end in the Padacheda here. But in the shloka you have Pashya plus Aitam. Pashya Aitam. Very good. Vriddhi Rechi. So please participate. Don't worry for making mistakes, because I make the most mistakes, by the way. And it is true, because I talk in front of the whole class and I make mistakes. So don't feel embarrassed, because I'm making mistakes all the time, which hopefully you can correct me when we go along. But as one Vyakaranam once told me, says Chintana Karya Yasmat Na Kopi Asi Sarvajnaha. Nobody knows everything. Ishwarad Vina. Beyond Ishvara, nobody is Sarvajna. So don't worry about making mistakes. So please participate to whatever you know. And even if you have a question, or even if you want, it will be good. So time is up. We started 4 minutes late. We ended 4 minutes late. So that is Yuktam Eva. So we'll do the Mangalacharanam, and 4:30 we'll start Ramayanam. Hopefully more if you can participate. And next time, please go. We did 2 shlokas right now. Please go to the next shlokas, and we'll try to see if you have missed any sutras for sandhi or Visarga sandhi. We try to come back to them. We need to digest these first, okay? Because the next thing is going to be do more sandhi rules. But I don't want to go there unless you practice these. So please practice, and next time, please, we can, all do it together. Okay. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Viyata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Ramannasti Parayanam Paratanam Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhautame Bho Ramama Muddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane Shri Ramanama Varanana Onnama Iti. Thank you. Hari Om.